What are we jamming on now, Jay? What are you jamming on now? Some Doom, huh? What is
Man.
Mighty Doom?
Yeah, so dipping my toes into a few things these days. First is Mighty Doom. So
I have some Doom to talk about too. How ironic.
What? Oh, Doom, bro. Okay, so I love Doom. I've played clearly the original Doom 2. Like Doom 2 was like one of the pinnacle of gaming games for me as a kid. Like Doom 2 and then Doom 3 and subsequently now as an adult playing Doom 2016, the latest Doom, and like I'm trying to work my way through the last one. It's still on my list, like I haven't finished it yet. But I love Doom. And, being working in the gaming industry that I do, I hear about these games, like games that I wouldn't normally just pop up on my radar, I guess. And this is one of them. I love Doom, but like at the same time, like I'm not really a mobile gamer, and this is a mobile game for your phone. Like I don't really play on my phone. If I do, it's like I use the backbone and I'm playing Xbox games. That's generally how I do.
The hairs on my arms are standing up just talking about it. So
right,
yeah,
it's
same way.
so I'm at work and people are talking about it at work, and so after hearing it a couple times, I'm like, okay, Doom, let me just check it out, just out of curiosity, and it's pretty addictive, man. So it's a mobile Doom game, like it's almost like a roguelike. You're going through stages, like blasting enemies, and like the controls work pretty well. Like they're nice. Like it's still a mobile game, but it's pretty addictive.
Are you just tapping on shit?
No, you have like, so you're using both thumbs. Like one is your controlling the the Doom character, the Doom Slayer around, and the other one is like you have different weapons that pop up and do different damage, because it's kind of like Hades, where you can pick up different power-ups on each run, and so like you might do something that has an explosive shot, or like get like a ricochet shot, and that type of thing. So every time you go through these stages, you're improving your Doom Slayer, and then he goes and fights like this Master Imp or like a Deca Demon or something like that, and like it has like the glory kills, it incorporates them like it does in the game, and they give you health back like it does in the game, and it has like very well done elements of the normal Doom games in this little like mobile bite-sized level by level roguelike format. And if you're like sitting in the car like I was recently, as we were traveling on a long drive with family, when I wasn't driving, I was actually playing that, and it was a pretty fun like time wasting game, you know what I mean? So
that is the chief. What you just described is like, you're like, if the develop. We've talked about this before, but like the developers of something sitting somewhere and like could hear like just one random consumer playing it and consuming it in the exact way they intended it to be. They'd be like, yes, addicting, yes, time killing, yes.
Yeah.
So how do they mini transaction you, Jay? How do they microtransaction you?
I'm actually not sure, because I don't like I haven't transacted it anyway. I can see though like the way that you start to get upgraded materials and things, like it feels like if I played it enough, I would reach a point where if I wanted to continue, I had to like pay, instead of waiting a certain amount of time. But like I was waiting long enough between playing that that never happened to me. Okay. So I don't know if that's a thing. I'm not sure. I haven't come up against that paywall yet, or the pay to win aspect of it. Right now, it's just a lot of fun, so which is great.
Word.
So kudos to them. Outside of that, dipping my toe, playing some ESO from time to time, just on the raid team. But the only other thing that I've played, which is a very interesting game, have you heard of Valheim?
Nope.
So it is a Viking like survival game. It's a brutal Viking survivor game, and I wasn't sure. So it's out on Xbox now. It came out on like Game Preview, and the funny thing, at work, I heard about it through work. Somebody was like, hey.
It's first person?
No. So it's actually multiplayer. Like, if you think of, how like, what kind of games I think of? Kind of like Fallout, how you're like building your Fallout or like Ark or something, where you're out in the open world and you can build your own like home and survival place, but other people can build their own as well. It's kind of like that, where we had a bunch of people from work, and we started a world. So we jumped into this like Norse Viking world, and like this giant eagle like brings you in and drops you into this world, and you just have to survive. So like at first you're in there with like a loincloth.
That's an interesting, cool setting, yeah, for that kind of game. I like survival games, so that's It's a one that hasn't been done yet, which is
Yeah,
part of why Subnautica is just like, oh my god, like why hasn't someone done this yet? Like that's not quite as good as Subnautica, but that's a cool setting for sure.
Yeah, I think the art style though is interesting because it feels kind of like World of Warcraftish. Like it feels like the art could be updated. So I wasn't sure when we were playing it at first, and it was addictive. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't sure whether or not this game was like an older game that they were just bringing the console, but then like the more research, I'm like, no, it doesn't seem like that's the case. But apparently like 10 million people are playing it or something. So maybe, you know, it's doing something right, you know, right. And it's fun enough, but like, I'm not sure it's fun enough to keep me engaged without a bunch of people. Like when I was playing it by myself, it still had me like engaged enough to understand, like to want to learn more and figure out like what kind of cool stuff can I craft. And once I started being able to craft stuff, you know, it opened up the world to me, and like different creatures come out at night. So it's not just like, I mean, it's Norse, but it's a video game. So like all kind of weird creatures are coming out. So, you know, it has that magical, mythical aspect of it. And once, you know, everybody else got on, because we said like every 2 weeks we're going to try to play this game. So we had a session where we're like, hey, let's jump on. And people were walking around. So, you know, obviously the best part of any multiplayer game is just shooting the shit and being able to talk, hang out while you play the game.
Right.
And I feel like this did a good job of that. I just don't know. Admittedly, I didn't play it long enough. I don't know if it has that like really, you know, longevity, that staying power.
Is there a component to the co-op aspect of it that is truly cooperative, or is it you're just everyone's in the world and kind of managing their own little system? Yeah,
there is. So I know like the first objective is like to take down this enemy, like this being. But like obviously when you get there and you have a loincloth, you're not even anywhere near doing that. You got to like make fire, make a camp, you know, do all that stuff and figure out how to make weapons, all that before you can fight the guy. So I got to the point where I was just doing things. We'd build a house and like I was just starting to build weapons. So I never fought the guy, but I know a couple of my coworkers did when I couldn't play one day. So, you know, that's the cooperative aspect where it's like, hey, you should, you know, not go take on this mythical being by yourself with your club.
You should get some roll dogs before you
exactly. And that's fun. Like it's anytime you're not OP and you're like, hey, I gotta have some people with me, I'm going to be interested.
That sounds interesting. Tell him to get it off a caveman machine and onto the Oculus, and I'll check it out.
The answer to everything. Put it on VR. That's I don't know. Sony's trying that, and they're failing.
Oh, well, they're failing because they have... I mean, that thing's got to be tethered to your fucking system, and it costs $1 billion. So
that is true.
Maybe try to do it in a more consumable and financially achievable way, and without being tethered to something like we're in the fucking 20th century. I can't even believe that's... I just can't believe. It blows my mind, actually. Like, look at the marketplace. How many things need to be tied to something to work? How many of those headsets? 0, motherfucker. So why the fuck?
Josh. One thing. Money.
Yeah. I guess, but it's still expensive as fuck. How can it be? I mean, I understand the quality is high, but... Or the quality of the software, whatever, fucking processing of that thing. But like, if you can't, like, again, it's the simplest thing. It always goes back to that simple fucking thing. I told you the Kitchen Brothers thing. Like it's in the human being's hands. Like the human being has to not get bored or irritated or whatever to get to really consume the thing and enjoy all the things that you think are great about your little product. You know what I mean? You have to get rid of the startup cost of it, you know?
And it is quite
literally or figuratively. Yeah, literally or figuratively. Yeah, fucking stupid, man. Fucking dumb. Whatever. I don't have any Sony stock. Fuck it up. I don't care. Word. Okay. That's it?
That is it, sir. What about you?
So I think I had downloaded this for our last main quest episode, but I hadn't... I think I'd even fired it up, but I had not figured it out, gotten it going, and really been able to play it yet. So the coin game. So this is that indie developer deal where you're playing. You're not. It's funny. Like the more I like, your avatar is not a kid. Like it does not look like a kid, but it's everything else about it suggests you are a child. But you play as this individual, and you have you live at your mom's house. You never see your mom. There's never any adults. All the people or adults that you interact with are robots. So it's like this very kind of, I don't know, but it doesn't act like you're not in a futuristic world at all. It feels, it's kind of time. What's the word? Like, yeah,
it's irrelevant. Time's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not
time agnostic or something.
There you go. That's something like that. So yeah, I mean, it could be the 80s, it could be modern. I don't know, but yeah. So you play as this, like you're like a kid. You don't have you don't have an adult life. You have all this free time. And you wake up in the morning. It's a 24-hour. It's a survival game. It's, funny like that. It's set up like a survival game in that you have stats that you have to maintain. You have energy and health, and the health is basically, you can take damage doing dumb shit out in the world, like from things just harming you, but it's more about like just eating to keep your fucking self alive. And it's like, it's all junk food that you can eat. So like everywhere there's like a gas station where you can buy shitty junk food. And the whole game is about you want to go to these arcades and play games. Not all video games. There are some video games, but it's more about, I told you this, the kind of the whack-a-mole games, the ticket games, skee ball, shit like that. And it's just amazing how many of them there are. I can't believe how many this independent developer has built into this world, different types of games. And it even on top of like the different types of games, it even has like, if you go into an arcade, like they'll have like 4 of the same game with different skins, basically, a different branding on essentially the same functional thing. It even has like that, like, but and it's not just a skinning. It's like there's slight tweaks to the way it works, but it's essentially the same game, but it has a completely different branding. So it's like it is. There's pop machines and the tickets and all these dumbass things you can get, and I told you got a goose and a fish tank you got to take care of, so you have like these responsibilities, and your mom wants you home by curfew at 9 p.m. or she gets pissed off, and you got to earn money to
Mom, 9 p.m.
Yeah, you got to earn money to be able to play the game. So you can do a paper route, you can cut this neighbor's grass, you can babysit for some neighbors. So again, you're not an adult at all. You're certainly either preteen to early teen. Yeah.
Young teen.
So, and like, dude, like it's such a weird, charming game. Like the grass cutting thing, dude, is an amazing mini game. It's so monotonous, but it is somehow so satisfying because they were able to get like you can miss blades and stuff, and like the whole thing is the guy won't pay you until you cut it right. So you gotta fucking you gotta do it right, and he's got like one of those shitty old like cartoon push mowers things, so it's like you gotta like fucking not fuck it up and like get it done. And you gotta do this, you have, like I said, you gotta get home by curfew too, so you want to play your games, but you gotta earn money, so you gotta do your chores, and like the paper route is amazing. Like it's the same houses every day, so you learn the route. So like I've like learned to optimize it in a way, and you can, there's roads and stuff. It's like this little quiet rural town, but you like a kid would, you learn like there's little paths. You got a bike, you ride your bike around and shit. And you like learn to fucking mountain bike through a little area to save yourself some time. So you're reliving
your childhood.
Hardcore. Well, I lived too far out and didn't get a bike until too late. I never had any of these jobs, even though I wanted them as a kid, a paper route and all that. So I'm actually living
Childhood
vicariously through this video game that I was unable to live like as a child to earn my own money. But that's another topic. So anyways, that's the world. But it's an indie developer, and it's like the controls are not. I think part of it is intentional. I think you're a kid, and like everything's it kind of captures like the awkwardity of being that age. I think like the biking, like you're not like a pro-am fucking bicyclist. You're like fucking. It's a little fucking weird, and like sometimes you come off things and it doesn't go the way you want, and you can wreck and shit. And it's like it kind of feels like it's intentional, but I'm sure it's also a little bit just it's an independent developer that can only do so much functional wise. So yeah, there was a lot of startup cost to it, and I wasn't able to figure out how to do. I ended up watching probably 20 minutes of tutorials. Like that's how intrigued I was by the world and the games and stuff.
Tutorials?
Yeah, to like figure out how to do simple shit like. There's the paper route, for example, in particular. That's the most appealing side job to me. So I couldn't figure out how to put the papers in the box. Like the stupidest thing ever. Like I can pick shit up I can put it in my inventory. That was all super intuitive. But like when I would get it to the box, it would like jam in funny, and I just couldn't get it to go in. I was like, what the fuck, man? I was like, is this broke? Am I dumb? Like, what's going on here? And it's like, it's because you have to, and this is just a perfect example of like, it needs some money and some smoothing to make it, I think, really consumable by the masses. But you got to pick the papers up by the very end of the paper. So your like focal point on your cursor when you push it into the box is actually going into that small mailbox, or paper box. So it's like if you don't have it by the very end of the paper, it'll just clunk and fucking go all sorts of stupid places. So like just really dumb shit like that can be a little confusing or frustrating at times. But once you get all that shit figured out, dude, the game loop is really, 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 really good, dude. Like I said, the arcade games, there are just so many childhood bangers, man. The skee ball is fucking amazing. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. And the thing I actually play the most, probably even more than skee ball, is the quarter pushing thing. So like it's those where you drop a quarter in. Yeah, dude,
I hate those in real life.
Oh my god, I can't explain it, dude. It's so good. It's so good because they have like a word you can spell for a bonus, and there's like you don't even get the toys. You already have these toys in your room, but they're like you get them and they're like extra money. Like so you could, because the thing is that this game, as it would in real life, you can, if you're good at it, you can basically not run down your cash reserves. And there's like big goals to save for too. You can buy a golf cart from this dude if you want to stop having to pedal a bike around, There's like big things to save for, and you also want to be able to get these really cool toys that take 1 million tickets from the fucking ticket thing. So there's reasons to not burn through your cash on top of just running out of money to play games with. You play this one and you can play it, and like if you get enough money to drop down, it's essentially a net zero to play the game, but you still get tickets, So it's like, again, I'm always, what's the most efficient system, So like whatever, it's just fucking little shit like that. So much fucking fun. And there's a bunch of different locations. So we have, there's like a little rinky-dink arcade that's right there in the town center. There is this like family fun center on the one side of town that is, it's like they got a putt-putt course there. They have a shit ton of arcade games, of course. They have like a pizza joint in the place that you can buy.
How much putt-putt have you played at that course?
I actually haven't played the putt-putt on there.
I have, what?
Because, dude, it's you don't have enough time. Like, you really are. You do feel the pressure. It does a great job of like giving you enough time to go out and do shit and get things done, but you feel the pressure of, I gotta get home so mom isn't pissed off, and like you gotta stop and you gotta get your damn goose food. You gotta feed that fucking goose, and you gotta feed the fish, and you gotta have goose. You gotta do all this shit. You gotta feed yourself. You buy these kids the best thing for food. You can buy, like I said, a bunch of bunch of places, but you can they sell at the like convenience grocery joint. They're kids cuisines is what they are, dude. They're kids cuisines. It's fucking like the frozen dinners for kids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you gotta get those. You gotta get home. You gotta put it in the microwave, cook that fucker for like a minute, take it out, eat it. And like there's just. And then
do you have to do homework too? Like,
you don't have to do homework. It's summertime. I think it's the summer is the vibe I get. But just a lot of really fun shit. You feel the pressure for sure. And so on the one side of town, there's that family fun center. I found a carnival on the other side, like a full-on carnival, dude. And it's got rides you can ride. It's got all the like pop the balloons, shoot the fucking things with the shitty gun. Like it's got all that shit there, dude. And a bunch of fucking the junk food there is in the carnival vein. It's so much and so many built out things that make it so much fun if you can get past, like I said, that startup cost. And it's like it's the kind of thing. It is very bite-sized because you have that finite window, and like, I mean, you could certainly play more than one day. It's not like timed, or you're not limited to one day per day or anything. But like, it would be, you'd have to be really into it, I think, to sit down and play multiple days in one sitting. So like, it's a great thing if like you have the time at the end of the day to spend 20, 30 minutes just a wind down thing that is just all fun. There's no It's like a total casual gaming experience that is really fun and just, like I said, so much personality and charm to it. It's really, really great. So, yeah, I cannot recommend that enough. And it's fucking, like I said, some cheap ass $15 or something. It's so reasonably priced. There's claw games in it, too, which I fucking love. There's just so many good things. Yeah. So, played a ton of that. I'll probably be popping into that here and there. And there is, like, I think like I said, there is an end game to it, at least to like the main story or whatever, the main quest. So there will be a point that I'll kind of finish it, I think. But like like I said, the game loop, the daily game loop, is where the real juice of it is, I think. So it's the kind of thing that, like, if you enjoy it, it'll be there forever, I think, to enjoy the way that I think is most optimally consumed. It's meant to be most optimally consumed. And as I mentioned also last time, the developer is just, I mean, this dude, it's his baby. And there's like, I told you this too, there's like signs, like the ATM, so you can save, there'll be some saving incentive, maybe you get interest, I don't know what it'll be, but there's an ATM at the convenience store, and it's got, he actually, when the developer is working on things in the world, he just puts a like under construction sign in front of it, so like it's there and it's being worked on, but it's not ready yet. But in the world, like, that's acknowledged. He's like constantly developing new things in the world, So it's really, really tended to, and there's just a ton of charm with it. It's really fucking great. Something you should support, even if you hated the game. I think the guy should be supported. So that's that. And then Divinity Sin. Amy and I actually beat the first one this week. The other night.
Nice.
Beat the Void Dragon. I posted the video of that. It was a great game, ton of fucking work. The end was like a little, I was like kind of like, fuck, by the end, I was kind of, there's a little bit of game breaky stuff. Like we had, like, I don't know if it was the exact same thing that got us off of it as I described the first time we tried it, however long ago it was. But there is like some game breaky shit in it. The menus will fuck up sometimes. We kind of, towards the end, figured out the workaround, turn the controller off, fucking you can just save and come back and everything's fixed, at least temporarily. So there's like some just UI shit that was frustrating with it that I didn't necessarily care for. So I was kind of happy to see it go by the time we were done with it. But it was a good game for sure. And I mean, the role-playing aspects of it and how D&D-esque it is, highly recommend. Definitely don't skip it if you haven't played these. But we moved into, when we got home, went and saw some play last night, got home and fired up the second one last night. So we just started. We're not going to be able to. You need a Game Pass or you need some sort of thing to play multiplayer, actually. We were trying to figure out how to start the game because it just says single player is like the local thing on the like start a game option list. And
you might need separate Xboxes.
No. We were able to start a local game, but
okay.
it is the single player version. So my point being, we were just a little unsure what to do. So we started picking the like host a game thing. And I know you mentioned you want to be able to pop in too. So I was seeing if I could start like just making sure that I wouldn't wall myself off to that option if I could start it with just a local. You know what I mean? I was just like figuring it out. So when we went to the host a game option, where an online enabled game or whatever, it pulled up this thing. You got to subscribe to Xbox, some shit or other, some sort of something that allows you to do online multiplayer.
Oh yeah, so, you need gold. Do you not have?
No.
Oh, because you stopped.
What the fuck would I have that for?
It's basically the online thing. Like you have to have it to play online, even if like you were on PlayStation. Like you had to have like whatever their thing is.
You know what I don't have? PlayStation. You know what I don't play? Xbox.
You have it. Just get Game Pass back, and it covers that as well. And you're good.
I don't want either one of those things.
You're limiting yourself. To
not really. Anyway, so we started that and just got into kind of we just got out of the tutorial stage, I think, before we went to bed last night. So we're cooking on that, and the UI is definitely better. It feels cleaner. There's like little tiny improvements, I feel.
Told you.
Yeah, so it's a remarkable how, like, it was trying to show us the tutorials, and we're like, we don't fucking need these. This is like it is the same thing, just a little cleaner, So there was no startup cost to that, converse to fucking the coin game at all, which was nice that we just kind of already had the familiarity with everything and how to do everything. All the functionality is the same, buttons, everything was the same. just looks better. Cool. So that was something we got going. So this is the other big thing. Okay, so I got wind. The Let's Talk Oculus podcast was talking about Duke Nukem 3D. I've kind of heard it a few places. Duke Nukem 3D VR on Oculus. I was like, I kept hearing. I'm like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta see what. Like I understand it's the original game. Like I didn't think I was finding a new game or some like really built out remaster or anything. But I mean, I love Duke Nukem, and the idea of playing it VR, even if it was going to be a flat sprite thing, like let me check it out anyways. So sent me down this whole fucking rabbit hole that there's this application called SideQuest, which is amazing, of course. So it's called SideQuest, and it allows you to do all kinds of shit on that headset that I didn't know was possible, and I'm sad as fuck that I have spent like at least 2 years of this thing not knowing that all this shit was possible, and this has been around for a while. So Duke Nukem is definitely achievable. A group of indie devs called themselves Team Beef dropped a pretty solid mod of it not so long ago. You can subscribe to their Patreon at it's like $6.50 a month, I think, and that's for access to their beta stuff. Like they haven't officially released it. Once they officially release things, you can just get it for free, But if you want, and they're doing a bunch of shit. They're actually working on one of the Elder Scrolls. They're modding one right now, Morrowind maybe, which I'll be all over that. I've never played those, the ones prior to Skyrim. I've never played any of them. So when that drops, I'll fucking be all over that. So $6.50 a month, I think, is a pretty reasonable thing for like access to fully functional and playable. Like it's not like all fucked up or anything, but it's just not officially released yet. So they've done a bunch of games. They've done actually for you, dude. They have some Star Wars games that they've Jedi fucking, I don't know what any of them are, but they're fucking, they're taking old games. So it's one you probably haven't played or at least played in a long time. Right. And you'll be able to play it in VR on your Oculus, basically, if you get this. So, Jedi Fallen Order or some shit. What? I don't know what the fuck it's called. That'd be ridiculous. It's fucking amazing. So they're doing a lot of cool shit. Can't recommend enough. And they also, I get into the side quest thing. That's just one thing that's on the side quest thing. So that's where I scored that. I don't know if you saw the video, dude. The VR duck hunt. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Oh my god, dude! So this is free. You can just download this off SideQuest. There's a million things actually on SideQuest you can download for free.
I think I saw a video of it. Yeah, I didn't.
Okay, it's fucking incredible, dude. It's amazing how good it is. It's like the thing starts, you're in. I mean, it's very. They don't try to make it modern or anything. It feels like they've created a 4D or a four wall version of the one screen of Duck Hunt, and the thing starts, and you see the zapper in the space, you pick it up, and then the game starts, and then the ducks just start flying around, and it shoots a little red like laser line, out of your gun when you shoot them, and like it fucking works great, dude, and it was free. It's fucking awesome. Just such a cool. I was so pleased that was just, like I said, this was not my objective when I just opened. I was trying to figure out how to make Duke 3D work, and I saw that, and I was like, it like diverted me for a few minutes. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta see what that is, So there's a lot of cool shit on there that, again, these are just like little indie developer pet projects and stuff that's on the side quest. Really great, yeah, and it reminded me that we live in a very beautiful time, Jay. So there's games on there. There's also, I was telling you when we were playing Demio yesterday, that there's a bunch of cool home environment mods. So like that, that when you fire your Oculus up, there's the home environment. I downloaded one that it's Peach's Castle lobby from Mario 64, where you start on the sun emblem on the thing, and you can look up. And like the coins are on the shelf and all the doors that you go into and the music's playing and shit. It is a perfect 3D VR rendition of that lobby from Mario 64. So just way cooler than any of the home ones, of course. And there's a bunch of that shit on there. So those are there. So there's another app called Quest Z Doom. It's not from Team Beef. It's another developer. But they can run all the big FPS games of the Doom era from ID. So Doom and Doom 2, obviously. But they also have Heretic and Hexen. That's what's behind me right now. So these are the Raven Software developed medieval fantasy adaptations on that same engine. They licensed the Doom engine, and then ID ended up publishing the games for them. So these are I loved these fucking games even more than Doom of that era. Hexen in particular, like I had forgotten. I couldn't believe how, it's still flat sprites, but I couldn't believe how good it looks. It's like, because there's like little environmental things that were in Hexen, like, leaves blowing off trees and stuff. that they are able to incorporate, and I can't believe it how good it looks, even though it still feels, you still feel the flat sprites, but it's great, dude. And fucking played the shit out of the app. There's a Quake app as well, and so yeah, I got what is that, 6 games right now that I can play, and there's other ones too. And all you got to do, it's they don't have the game in it. You got to go out and get the WAD file for Doom or the WAD file for Heretic, whatever, which obviously anyone can find. I don't feel bad because I played these fucking games and bought them at the time, so I don't give a fuck about. So you got me, but the Internet Archive has all the WAD files. You just find that, and the side quest allows you have to, like I said, you're going to have to look up a video to learn how to do it, but it'll take you 10 minutes. And when you install SideQuest, it allows you to, it has a file manager app inside of it that allows you to just upload things to your Oculus, So drop the WAD file into this folder, and then just when you open this app in your SideQuest thing, it just fires the game up, dude. Like it just you literally one click and you're playing fucking Heretic or Doom or whatever it is, and everything. It's all. The controls are fucking great. It's all fucking awesome. And so yeah, I fell into Hexen real bad, played the shit out of that. And I've forgotten how much depth there was to that game, dude. There's like, everything spins off these hub worlds and you're going into, I just couldn't believe, in my memory of it, it was just this very linear FPS, just shooting shit constantly kind of thing, but it's not. There's so much more to it. Problem solving, puzzles, switch bullshit. There's like a lot to it that Metroidvania kind of backtracking things that I just did not remember at all when I was playing it ever so long ago. So that looks great. But I got into the Quake one this week, or maybe it was last week, but Quake it's it's the one that came out after later than all these, so of course probably it would be better. It's also a fully 3D space. It's actually polygonal. It's like the most basic bitch polygons you can get on a sprite or on a character, but it is still polygonal in 3D. So of course, for those reasons, it's going to translate to VR better and look better and all that. It is fucking great, and it's for that reason, I guess. Maybe it just functions a little better. It feels better. And I wasn't, of all those games, like I played Quake, I had it.
I never got into Quake.
Yeah, it was the one that I have the least nostalgia for sure. Yeah. But in this setting, and this format, I'm enjoying Quake more than any of them. It's fucking really, really, really good. And I'm so curious. I don't know this. I haven't explored it yet. I don't know how the deathmatch works. I don't know if it's possible. I'd be surprised if it's not, especially for Quake, because Quake is that's what made Quake big, was the deathmatch shit. So if we could deathmatch, I think it would be fucking dope, dude. I think it would be really dope. So we should explore that. But yeah, I played just a ton of that shit. And dude, it's so tiring, man. It's like, it's just like we talked about, we playing Doom 2016 in VR. It's like, it's a lot, man. It's just a lot. To have that happen, to have that kind of shit happening in a 3D space and you're physically up moving around and dealing with it. Yeah, it's a fucking lot. It's not as bad as Doom. Like Doom 2016 was bad, dude. Like that was really fucking just a assault on your senses. This is not that bad, but it's,
you don't want to literally be fighting demons like
right, like yeah
fighting for your life.
This still feels like a game, but it's definitely more engaging than your most of the VR experiences I've had. So that's just a whole thing. And yeah, you gotta, dude, oh my god, Google it, do it, get it, check it out, and if you get into it, let's try to fucking play test the multiplayer thing. So that's the big shit. The two little VR things that are dropping, the Walkabout mini golf new course drops on the 20th, next whatever it would be next, maybe what is that, Thursday? Yeah, they're usually on Thursdays, I think. But it's another in their Lost City series, dude. So this is an Egyptian themed one, which yeah, that's easily my favorite, most intriguing historical lost civilization deal, and I cannot fuck away for that. So next Thursday, let's fucking play that. And then yeah, it was most of our followers probably noticed, but we got our first fucking full company demo game yesterday.
Woohoo!
Me, you, and Jab with a run through the Roots of Evil campaign. So that was pretty dope.